All right, welcome to Locker Room on the Voice of the People TV. I am Jerry Apeyoi, your go-to host for everything football. Today, we're unpacking the drama on and off the pitch and breaking down key matchups and digging into the latest rumors rocking the ever-inciting world of football. And of course, joining me is my passionate sports analyst talking about James Edmaiwa, who are here to bring you all the insights and enthusiasm you can handle. Together, we'll deconstruct tactical plays, controversial decisions, and all the heated moments in between. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never get to miss an episode of The Locker Room on Voice of the People TV. All right, the Say Charity begins at home. James, it's great to have you once again on Locker Room.
Yeah, very good evening to you, Jerry, and also to our viewers. Good evening and a beautiful day to talk football. Yes, it's a Tuesday. Champions League returns after several weeks of no Champions League action, and here we are again. We are having a lot of actions tonight. I want to see what's going to happen between Sporting and Arsenal when they take on each other later tonight. But it's a beautiful day to talk football, and we are here.
It's a beautiful day to talk football. While we expect Maiwa to join us, and very soon, let's hit the ground running. Where the Super Eagles is in the news, maybe for the right reasons this time around. Where the interim head coach of the senior national team, Austin Eguavoen, says the duo of Rangers forward Sarah Dessers and Ajax man Chuba Akpom are in line for a call-up to the team next year. Dessers was a shock omission from the list of players called up for the final round of games in the AFCON qualifiers, where the Super Eagles drew 1-1 with Benin Republic before losing 1-2 to Rwanda in their final game of the series. Many expected that Dessers, who has scored 10 goals in 20 games this season, is to be handed a chance to add to his 6 caps and 2 goals for Nigeria, but the 29-year-old was conspicuously missing from the list. Meanwhile, Ajax forward Chuba Akpom switched nationality to Nigeria after representing England at various youth levels, but the senior debut for Nigeria hasn't become a reality since he made the decision. Of course, with 6 goals in 18 games this season, you expect that it's high time to get call up to the team. And of course, there are also other players who are doing well. There's Aroko Diary, who is doing well in the Belgian league right now, and he's not been given a look in. But instead, we continue to have players like Tanimu making it through the back to the team. And even the man who plays in Spain, talking about Mauro Sadiq, who is not being on form, Kelechi Nacho and co. But players who are on form should be given looking.
As long as the NFF has still yet to stipulate what guarantees you being called up to the national team, we'll keep on now getting players who don't deserve to be in a particular list. Looking at the last one, we're seeing the likes of Kelechi Nacho and Mauro Sadiq. These are players that on a normal, I don't think they are producing anything for their club side to even get called up for the national team. We should have a standard of what we should be expecting. If you are doing well in your club side, we are rewarding you with call-up duty for the national team. You don't reward players that are not even performing their club side with to come and represent the Super Eagles. So what are you trying to promote? If the players are not doing very well, you leave them and try to develop themselves and find their form in their club sides. And when they are doing well, you can invite them back. At this point, it's a good one that they are finally realized that these players need to be changes in the teams that are being called for the national team. I don't want to see players like Kelechi Iheanacho making it to the team anymore at this point. Maybe in the future when he picks the form, fine, he can come. But Kelechi Iheanacho in the last 2 years, I don't think he has been able to produce double numbers of goals and assists. And as a striker that he is, and now he even wants to play as a 10. I don't think he deserves to be in the particular spot. Let him rediscover himself in the Spanish La Liga. Now there are even reports that Sevilla wants to terminate his contract barely 6 months in January. So I think he needs to work on himself and try to find his form. He has no disrespect to him. He has done very well for the Super Eagles and also for the age grade team before he came to the Super Eagles. But at this point, we need to give those opportunities to other people. So Dessers has been doing very well in the Scottish League. You said it yourself, 10 goals in 20 appearances. Looking at our attackers, except for the likes of the Osimhen, Boniface, and also the Ademola Lookman, who comes closer? Taiwo Awoniyi has not been in this season. He has barely fine. He lost his starting position to Chris Wood at Nottingham Forest. Terra Murphy, we know he got an ACL injury in the beginning of the season and he's currently out for the rest of the season. Who else do we have in the center forward? We should be getting players who are doing very, very well in their team club sides. Then you reward them with good performances. You don't have to reward players that are not doing well. Players that are not performing in their clubs, and you're rewarding them with contracts. You're rewarding them with coming to play for the national team. What is going to inspire them to want to do better in the future? When these players are seeing that they're not getting called up because of their performances, I'm sure they're going to step up. Definitely, these players are going to step up. But it's the NFF, and Eguavoen coming to review this one now. Are we sure it's Eguavoen that is going to be the manager in March? That's another question. And if Eguavoen is not the manager, if Eguavoen is still the manager, he's not the manager in March, that means, and we still get players like Siridesa and Akpom in the list, that means we will know that the coach does not have anything to do in the lineup. We have to take our hands off selection of players. Let the coach see clips of this. Obviously, the NFF cannot sponsor this coach to go and watch each of them in their leagues. Let him watch them from home. He has a plan. He has a game style that he wants to take. Let him think of players, pick players that can fit into this pattern of what he wants. Then he can work with what he chooses. But this NFF, we said it yesterday, they will not allow a coach to come and have 100% say in players that are getting called up. We will see, I'm sorry, but in the future, we'll still see players like Umar Sadiq. If it's not Umar Sadiq, we'll see someone like Tanimu. We'll still see players that don't deserve to be in that 28 or 27-man list every time. We need NFF to get their hands off, give a new coach, or we'll give Eguavoen the job, give him the full backing and say, okay, we'll come back in the next 1 year, we'll come back in the next 2 years to see how you have developed the team. If you have taken it further, fine, you remain at the job. If you are not taking it further, then you go back to the drawing board and we can come back to discuss. But at this point, the NFF wants to be involved in everything because obviously they are getting some.
Yeah, I think for the fact that I'm worried that each time Victor Osimhen is not available, who are we going to rely on? If Osimhen is not available, we have to look at Ademola Lookman. What if both of them are not available? Who are the players we can rely on? There's a certain Tolu Arokodare who is playing in the Belgian league. He's been scoring goals. There's Siridesas, there's Chuba Akpom, there's Ako Adams, there's Victor Olatunji. These are players who deserve playing time, not Umar Sadiq, not Kelechi Iheanacho, not the likes of Tanimu and Co.
Before all these players start even doing it, like the players just mentioned, don't forget we have been players that we have been seeing for the past 3 seasons. Gift Orban. He has done it in the Belgium league, he's in the French league, and he's still also living it up. So what does he have to do to get into the national team? You cannot tell me that in the past 2 years, Kelechi Iheanacho has done more in football than Gift Orban. You can't tell me that.
Definitely.
But in the next calendar, in March, if the next invitation is coming, you will not still see Gift Orban in the list. And you are seeing Kelechi Iheanacho. We have a striker in Siridesa who has scored 10 goals in 20 appearances. Go and bring Kelechi Iheanacho's last 30, 40 games. He has not scored 10 goals. So what is he doing in the league? What's he getting the opportunity to start in national team? We saw him against Benin Republic. He couldn't cut it for the first 45 minutes. We saw him against Rwanda. He couldn't do it. So what is the essence of us inviting him? Let that slot be given to players that can deliver and can give us results. We'll keep on dragging and rounding this, going around this table as long as NFF we want to have a say in who is coming. And don't be surprised because those guys are cleaning and settling some boys. That's why they are still getting called up.
Mayowa, it's great to have you join us on Locker Room. They say better late than never. Definitely, they say when the person who comes last is the chairman of the occasion.
He go declare for boys.
Chairman of the occasion, you're welcome.
He go declare for boys.
Make sure as you're leaving the party, the boys are well settled anyway. You're welcome.
Well, I'm not Tanimu, and I'm not Kelechi Iheanacho. But in any case, it's always amazing to be here. Champions League football and a whole lot of football to be discussed. Our NFF, they are always dragging us in the mud, and I hope they'll probably spare us this time around. They are still struggling with hiring a foreign coach. However, I came in when You know, you were talking about the justification of Ekelechi Iheanacho and Tanimu making the team, whereas we have players that are performing day in, day out in different leagues in Europe and they are not getting the opportunity. If they're having any plans for Chubo Akpom and Desert and the rest of them, I think it's high time they allow them come nothing. I mean, some of the names on the list, some of the names of people being invited, they are not fit to even sit down on the bench based on their performance. There are a couple of them that should not be getting an opportunity in the national team, and yet they continue to get an opportunity in the national team. And I think we've said it over and over again. The godfatherism with our football needs to stop, because I mean, if it doesn't stop, you have mediocre players who are not doing so much for their club and they are coming in. That's number two. I always go back to this again. A 78-year-old brand, you know, does not have a proper guideline of what it takes to be part of the team. I mean, if you ask anybody in the NFF what are the criteria for you to be part of the national team, a whole lot of them might be scratching their head, because I mean, if there are criteria for you to meet, if there are set criteria for you to be part of the national team, some of the players that we are seeing at the moment should not be in the national team. How do you explain a Crawley Town bench warmer making it to the national team? How do you explain, a blank firing striker who is not doing well at the moment, making it into the team and still getting a share to play for the national team? I think it's high time, those in charge of calling up players, do the right thing and allow players who are actually doing the job, who we can see that are performing, to come and play for the Super Eagles. Or else, this might even discourage a whole lot of, foreign-born players that might be interested in playing for Nigeria. I mean, you should be part of the national team on merit. You should not be part of the national team on sentiment, and that's what we have been seeing so far.
All right, they shouldn't be part of the national team on sentiments. It should be on merit. We hope that they'll take that into cognizance. All right, let's talk about more news where Paul Onuachu is most likely not to have suffered a serious injury after he was forced out of a Premier League clash against Liverpool. Southampton boss Russell Martin said he believes the Giant striker may have suffered more from fatigue than a problem with his knee that he had to quit the game on Sunday. The striker will hope to play a bigger role as Southampton fight their way to safety after a sluggish start to life back in the top league in England. And I've been seeing rave reviews about his performance against Liverpool. Though he did not get a goal, he was also subbed off in that game. And I didn't see that much, so I cannot really assess his performance. For those who saw the game, they were able to say some good things about Paul Onuachu. And if it's right that he did show some brilliance, he needs to start scoring goals to at least, so people can measure his performance, because a striker is as good as he goes, he's able to score.
I was able to catch the game against Liverpool. Yes, he had a good game. He had a fantastic outing. He was dropping deep into midfield, trying to control the pace of the tempo of the game, and I think he's one of the few strikers that can be on the field and try to muscle Van Dijk. I think he gave a good account of himself on that particular day. And I was thinking he was going to score before the end of the match. But before the whole injury crisis happened, I think when early in the second half, so he was started to be taken off. But Paul Onuachu gave a good account of himself, except for finding the back of the net on that particular day. But I'm happy it's not a long-term injury, because we know how injury has been one of the things he has been struggling with all through his career. So let's see, maybe it's still a long season. We still have a very long season. We're just in March week 13 or so. So we still have a long season, and let's not forget where Southampton are currently seated and now, currently in the league. So he has a very, very long, a lot of job cut out for him. So let's just see if Paul Onuachu can maybe come back and give them a fighting chance and make them stay in the Premier League to the end of the season. To next season, sorry.
All right, Maiwa, Paul Onuachu is in the news. They say this injury is not as serious as thought before, but in spite of all the rave reviews, I think he needs to start scoring goals, because let me tell you, as a striker, no matter what you've done in the Belgian league, it will not count if you come to the Premier League and you're not able to score goals. Imagine he's having that figure in terms of goals and performance he had in Belgium in the Premier League. By now, Paul Onachu will be the rave of the moment.
Well, definitely. I think when he came to the EPL, he struggled a bit. He has not been getting consistent playing time with Southampton, and he just started making it into the team. If you watch the first half of that particular game, he was able to peg Van Dijk back. It was unfortunate that he got injured in the later part of the first half, and that was what that was what made the coach change their plan. Every ball was going through him. He was giving Van Dijk and Konate, a match of their life, and I was surprised to see how he was moving. I think his movements has improved. I know you have your reservation about Paul Onachu, playing for the national team because of the kind of performance he has been putting in. However, if you look at that game against Liverpool, he really stepped up, and if you look at the times he has gotten an opportunity to play for Southampton, I think this was the first time he's starting for Southampton. Most of the time he's coming in from the bench, but most of the appearances he has been making. Most of the appearances he has been making, the 15 minutes, the 10 minutes, the 20 minutes he has been getting, he always has an impact. Yes, Southampton has not been playing well generally as a team. However, if you look at the totality of how Onachu has been performing for Southampton, especially the way he's moving, if he continues to get regular shots, if he continues to play regularly, I think it's just a matter of time before he begins to score the goals. I think the way he was moving on Sunday, if not for the injury, he probably have been on the score sheet because of the way he was moving. I just hope that this injury does not take away the momentum that he's enjoying at the moment. I hope he comes back stronger, because I think the way he was moving on Sunday is an indication of the kind of quality he has to show the EPL. And I think if he comes back and is fully fit, I think he should be able to do it. I'm looking forward to seeing how he'll be able to help Southampton get out of the relegation soon.
All right, so hope that he gets on the goals, because if Southampton will have to get on the relegation spot, Paul Onachu will need to start scoring goals. Let's go to the female national team, the Super Falcons, where coach Justin Madugu has said that Sister Oshoala will soon return to the team after she was overlooked for Saturday's high-profile friendly against France. Madugu explained that multiple Cup Player of the Year, Oshoala, was not caught up for the France game because her travel documents are being processed. The Super Eagles is set to face France at the Stade Raymond Kopa in Angers this Saturday. Even the likes of Plumtree has acknowledged her invitation for that game. And I just hope the Super Falcons will capitalize on this friendly game, and maybe something will come out of it. But I don't know whether Madugu has what it takes. But our players are doing well over Europe, and we hope that they can replicate that form against a very, very interesting star-studded France side. Maiwa.
I mean, it will be a good one for Assad to return back to the national team. I think he has been out for a while, and because of where he's playing at the moment, I think a whole lot of people might say, at 31, I think he should start thinking of getting out of the Super Falcons and just for that. However, the experience counts, and I'm looking forward to seeing her return. I mean, we had an Onomebi who played till she was over 40. If not for the fact that Onomebi was abusing the coach, he would probably be part of the last competition, but because she decided to be puffing shoulder to the coach, that was why she was not. I think she has a lot of experience, and that will come into bear with the younger ones that are just coming in, with the new talents that we are just discovering. We know that a whole lot of our under 17 and under 20 girls, some of them will make it to the national team, because I think there might be room for them to be able to replace one or two people that are getting older. However, with the kind of experience Oshoala has, definitely his return to the Super Falcon team will be at that advantage, and that will give us an edge against whoever we are playing. So I'm hoping to see her return, and I hope she'll return with a bang and probably score the goals for us again.
I'll probably score the goals. Of course, talking about Oshoala, about Bola, that's how Nigerians refer to her. All right, let's talk about Victor Boniface. We hear that he is on the radar of Premier League giant Manchester United. Are they still giants? Well, anyway, they still have a lot of money They can still buy players. You've spent over £1 billion with Eric Ten Hag. So at least they're still a giant in spending unwisely, bringing in Kokoli and Co.
I saw this news and I said I don't even believe this news. It's concerning the fact that it's coming from a German reporter. I don't want to believe it. Yes, Boniface is good, but looking at the way Manchester United are building, does Boniface look like someone that's going to suit this style? Yes, it might work for them because Xabi Alonso also plays a 3-5-2 formation at Bayern Leverkusen. But Boniface on his way to on the radar of Manchester United. I don't even know that club. I don't even know what to expect from them.
He has the numbers. He's 23. He's still young. Maybe that could be the reason. Maybe they might be looking at it. Doesn't mean that they may eventually sign him. But
true.
it's now left to the coach to decide. If he says he wants...
I think the major priority for the team, Ruben Amorim and also the team is a left back, and there are reports of Alphonso Davies that are trying everything to convince him so he does not make the move to from Bayern Munich to Real Madrid. We know his contract runs out at the end of the summer, so they are trying to get him for a free instead of making the move to Well, the thing it boils down to negotiation and money. Let's not forget that's one of the reasons they are.
Money is the motivation for a player who wants to play for Real Madrid.
He has one.
Winning title.
He has won titles at Bayern.
How many Champions League does he have?
I think he has about one. He was in the team that won the last champion.
One champion.
Okay. So what is he looking for?
He wants to go to
Is the Real Madrid a clear number one yard that they are getting? They are going to win the Champions League every year.
See, every season that starts, is Real Madrid and the rest. As far as the Champions League is concerned.
Real Madrid is in a much better position than Manchester United is currently. And when you look at the talent they have, Real Madrid have, obviously it's much. Yes. So, but looking at it, looking at the long term, I think it gets an easier set of getting into a Manchester United team that wants to play a wing back position, and that suits Alfonso in all his career and what he has been doing. But looking at Real Madrid side has been used to the 4-3-2-1 or 4-3-3 formation, whatever they want to use on the day. He's more defensive minded. So I think at this point, it just goes back to the negotiation and what offers both teams are bringing. The two teams are teams that will go and they will surely succeed. So it's left for him to decide on which he wants to go for. But Boniface, he's a good player, but I don't see him making a move to Manchester United. But if he works out at the end of the season, fine. He has been able to work under the system with Leverkusen and he has gotten a number of goals. I think he has had the best 2 years of his career in the Bundesliga due to that same formation. So if Ruben Amorim adopts the system at Manchester United and it works out and they get the Boniface, it's obviously going to bang the goals.
Boniface and Goyokores attacking for Manchester United.
Why are you imagining what will happen? How would they get two of them at the same time?
It's possible. It's possible. The money is there. If they do away with Zexi, Højlund, and Rashford, they have to add money to that and bring in a Boniface.
You think they will leave their child Rashford? How many teams will still have someone like Rashford still be playing in their team?
I think Rashford has something on the Glazers.
It's their child. It's just their child. They know that you cannot push our child away. We will still punish him with our right hand and draw him back with our left hand. That's just the obvious thing there.
Wow. Would you advise Boniface to join United now?
Well, on a lighter note, maybe Rashford knew that maybe Rashford has something on the Glaciers. Probably maybe they attended DD party. Maybe that's what he's using to blackmail them.
And he has the video.
That could be it.
Maybe he has the video.
Yeah.
I mean, but in any case, I mean, Boniface to Manchester United, I think because of how Amorim want to play, I think Victor Boniface will probably suit him very well. I mean, it's one of the things, a whole lot of Nigerians have been complaining about as regards Victor Boniface is the fact that he turns up for his club, but when it comes to Nigeria, it's a different kettle of fish. It doesn't show up, and I've said it consistently. It's because of the way he's been deployed. But if you look at how Alonso plays and how Amorim played, there is a whole lot of similarity, and I think there's an opportunity for a Victor Boniface to be able to shine, in the EPL under an Amorim. But the bigger question is this: will a Victor Boniface consider a struggling Manchester United perhaps maybe if Amorim can turn the result around and probably get us into the Champions League spot, maybe we are number 3 because a whole lot of top teams are not doing well this season. Probably we are lucky enough to make it to the Champions League. Probably that might entice him enough to come. But if we are still stuck on the 6th, 7th, or 10th position, I think if Boniface probably choose a Real Madrid, because I mean he will consider, he will want to take his chance in terms of playing for Real Madrid, and the way he plays, I think he will also fit into the Real Madrid setup. I know Ancelotti can probably adjust his formation to be able to accommodate him. You were making a joke as regards Guekas joining Victor Boniface, coming with Victor Boniface to Manchester United. However, I don't think Guekas want to come back to the EPL. Remember, he had a very terrible 2 years with Brighton. He was sold like a thief in the night, chased away from Brighton like a thief in the night. He couldn't cut it. He couldn't get a playing time. He struggled in the EPL before he made the move to Benfica, and he has been flourishing in the Portuguese league. I probably think maybe the pace and how the setup is in the EPL does not suit his style of play, and probably he's having a little bit of problem adapting the EPL, and that's the reason why he didn't succeed. But in any case, let's see what Ruben Amorim will do at the end of the season. I mean, probably let's see which players is going to bring in. The bottom line is this: if he wants to succeed, he needs to sign players that can play that particular pattern. At the moment, the players we have will not do justice to the pattern he's trying to play.
All right, we wish him all the best. Anyway, it's going to be a very long journey for Ruben Amorim. I wish him all the best. I don't envy him at the moment. Anyway, why you laughing? All right, let's take off with Osayi Samuel, talking about the Fenerbahce player has been offered a new deal by his Turkish club side, who have tabled a new contract for the defender, which includes a massive signing-on fee. The player's contract with the Istanbul Giants will run out next summer, and Fenerbahce, represented by sport director Mario Branco, met with the agent of Osayi Samuel for the first time, and the offer is as follows: a contract for 2 years with option for an additional year, an annual salary of 2 million euros, and a signing-on fee of 1.3 million euros is now left for the Super Eagles ace and his camp to decide whether he wants to take the offer or not. I think it's still a good one. The player has said he wishes to return to England, where his fiancée lives and works. I think if there's an offer on the table in England that looks similar, I think he should also consider it. But he's doing well currently with Fenerbahce, and he's a starter.
I think he should look for other options, because the fact that they're giving him just 2 years signing 2 years contract, I think that's a short one, a very short of a footballer. And checking his age, I think he's about 26 or 27. So I give him 2 years.
He has a 2027 contract. His current contract is 2027.
End of the summer. I thought you said end of the summer.
Next summer.
Next summer. It's still 2 years.
Yeah.
It's still 2 years. It's still a short
2 years to that.
It's still a short time for a footballer. You had a contract. That means he's not even in his 30s, and you're giving him just 2 years contract. So I think they are not sure about what he brings to the table for me. But I'll keep my options open until the end of the summer. If there are options for him coming in England and way better, I'm sure the efforts are going to be way better than what Fenerbahce are offering. And I'm sure if he gets something like that, I think it's the right time he make a move from Fenerbahce to a league that has a lot of competition, and the eyes of the world will be watching him. So I don't know, it's left to him and his agent to decide. But for me, a player that is 27 or 26, they're giving him 2 years contract, and it's a very important player for them, the national team, for the Fenerbahce side. I watched the game against Manchester United, and what he was able to do in that particular game, he was practically all over until he was taken off in the second half. So he's a player that is as important to them as that. So why give him just 2 years contract? It's left to him and his agent to decide, but he's a good player.
All right, so Maiwa, there's an offer on the table for Bright Osayi Samuel, the one-time boxer in the Turkish league.
Well, the thing is I think if I were Osayi Samuel, I would learn a lesson from Victor Osimhen. There's no reason for him to rush. He's doing very well right now, and is an integral part of the Mourinho project. There is no weekend Mourinho does not gush over him because of the kind of performance he's putting in. And he's currently in Europe. The performance in Europe will probably bring a whole lot of attention and a whole lot of better suitors to him. I've said it over and over again. I think his quality, and I'm not trying to overhype his quality. I think his quality is above the Fenerbahce team. I mean, they are the Turkish league rather, and probably because of how his performance in Europe at the moment, better suitors will come. And the moment he signed an extension, that means he has tied himself down to Fenerbahce for the next 4 years. He has 2 years left on his contract. They want to extend it for another 2 years, and that's a gimmick to tie him down for another 4 years. So they should run down this year, let it run. Then that'll probably put a whole lot of pressure on them, and probably he can force a move at that particular point, owing to the fact that Fenerbahce cannot usually cash in because of the bigger clubs that will come. I don't want a situation whereby he will sign another 2 years and he'll be tied for 4 years, and the Osimhen situation will repeat itself again. I think he should take his time. He's performing at the moment. He's doing very well. A whole lot of suitors will come. He should take his time. If the suitors come, then he should move. I think he has the quality to play in the EPL, and I would love to see him play in the EPL.
Definitely would all love to see him play in the EPL, where his fiancé is currently in England. And of course, there are a lot of decent club sides who will fancy a bright Osayi Salmon. And of course, let's wait and see how that pans out. Let's talk about the UEFA Champions League. Action resumes tonight on match day 5, and a lot of blockbuster fixtures to look forward to in the UEFA Champions League. And of course, if our producers will give us the fixtures roll call, we have the game between Slovan Bratislava taking on AC Milan. There's also Sparta Praha up against Atletico Madrid. It's an away game for Diego Simeone's boys. And Bayern Leverkusen, inspired by Victor Boniface, at home against Red Bull Salzburg. There's also the game between Barcelona and Bre. Bayern Munich versus Paris Saint-Germain is the pick of the bunch on a good day. This is a classic fixture. There's also Inter Milan up against Leipzig. There's Manchester City. I hope it's not going to be the 6th loss at the Etihad Stadium. They take on Feyenoord, who we expect them to dispatch. There's Sporting Lisbon up against Arsenal. Young Boys versus Atalanta. And for the bookies, everybody's afraid of Manchester City now. Maybe they are still doing Black Friday. So you don't want to give them a straight win this time around, because anything can still happen. Don't really wait for they can cause an upset even at the Etihad Stadium.
I think the mouth-watering fixture for the day is the Bayern Munich versus Paris Saint-Germain. If the Paris Saint-Germain would be informed. And I think they had good news on over the weekend, where Goncalo Ramos and also Kimpembe returned into the squad from injury. So those are two very important inclusions into the team, but it's not going to be an easy one. Bayern Munich has been firing all cylinders, and I think they played the last game. The game they played over the weekend was on Friday night. So they've had enough time to rest and prepare for this particular game. Both teams played on Friday night. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. But also Man City, we don't know which mood Man City will be in today. If it's still Black Friday mood, or they'll be back and they'll be getting the results. It's one interesting one I want to look out for is the Sporting CP and Arsenal. Sporting CP going to cope without Amorim. They were able to get the result over the weekend. I think they were able to score about 4-0 over the weekend. But now they are playing an English side after defeating Man City 2 weeks back. Now they have to face another English side as Arsenal. Let's see. Arsenal lose today is going to be a problem. Probably going to be mountain. I think they already dropped. Ikechukwu is already shouting, no go lose, no problem. And if not lose, no problem. We already saw the game against the drop point against the likes of Atalanta already. And now they have another interesting one at Sporting CP. Let's see if Arsenal are going to get the result. But it's an interesting day to watch for Champions League drama. We just go and watch and enjoy the vibes.
All right, just go out and watch, enjoy the vibes in the words of James there. Mayowa, what's the pick of the bunch for you before we start looking at all of the games one after the other?
I have a threatening note on my table. Okay. Say anything against Manchester City, and you will get it tonight. So I'm going to avoid that particular game.
It is what it is.
but in any case, I mean, for the sake of the threatening note, Man City will win. Handsomely, they will probably, do very well and beat Feyenoord because of the threatening note. So I will not say anything more than that. I think the pick of the bunch for me is probably, Bayern Munich, Paris Saint-Germain. I mean, PSG has been inconsistent in the Champions League, and their qualification is hanging on the balance. If they turn up the way they turn up over the weekend, and they are consistent and they can bring the consistency of the league, they can bring it into the Champions League. Probably, they would be able to scale through. But there's a Bayern Munich too that has been struggling in the Champions League. The result has not been that favorable to them. They've only been able to manage a couple of wins in 4 games, which is not good enough. I think this is an opportunity for them to be able to prove themselves. So it's 2 teams under a whole lot of pressure, and I'm looking forward to see how that will end. Bayer Leverkusen too, they've been struggling in the Champions League. There's a Sporting CP and Arsenal, but the pick of the bunch for me, definitely I'll be looking forward to Bayern Munich, Paris Saint-Germain, because of the inconsistency of the 2 teams.
Looking at the teams, and I remember there's a Barcelona also who has not been, who lost their last game in the La Liga, and I think the last game they had in the Champions League also, I think they drew or they lost also. Now looking at the team they are playing, Ibrea, who has had their almost 100% record, I think the last game they drew. I think they've just drawn 1 match in the whole competition, and they are facing each other. I think it's not going to be an easy one for Barcelona, because considering the fact that since Lamine Yamal left injured, they have not been able to get full points in the last 2-3 games that he was absent. How are they going to cope against a side that has had almost 100% record in the Champions League? Yes, they'll see that it's just bread, but it's still an important team. Having almost 100% record in the Champions League is a very big one. Let's see how Barcelona are going to cope in that particular one. But the Champions League is going to be interesting. I think from this week, after the games today and tomorrow, I think the table is going to start taking shape. There will know teams that need to be worried. Because if teams like Paris Saint-Germain lose tonight, then they need to be worried. Because I think they've just been able to secure just one. I think
just one win.
One win. I think that's against Girona or something.
Yeah, against Girona.
So looking at it, I think teams like Paris Saint-Germain should be worried that where are they going to stand. Well, I want to say how today and tomorrow is going to look like. Then on Thursday we'll have the log and we'll look at which teams to be scared. If Arsenal, I think Arsenal are still pretty quite comfortable, but losing tonight will put them in pressure.
Yeah, under serious pressure.
Yeah, losing tonight will put them in pressure. But it's looking interesting, and I don't want to see English teams after playing this long amount of games, still have to go and play in the group stage again. It's going to tell a lot on them. And let's not forget, it's the EPL that we will still play about 4 games or 5 games in about 1 week in December, and that's just barely how many weeks from now. In 3 weeks or so, that we should be having some numbers of games from the 18th or 19th up to the 1st and 2nd of January. We know how those games comes in the APL. So I think every English team should be wise enough to try and get their qualification done automatically, so they go to the knockout stage, and instead of going to the Premier League, instead of going to the group stage again and battling out again. Let's just see how these things are going to turn up tonight. But I'll keep my eyes up for Paris Saint-Germain and Bayern Munich.
All right, we hear that Hansi Flick, the coach of Barcelona, has added the dates, talking about the UEFA Champions League final dates on the calendar of Barcelona in their dressing room. So it means that his aim is to get to the final in Munich. Let's not forget that Hansi Flick is a German. The final is going to be played in Germany, and the man is dreaming.
It's good to aim high.
I saw a meme where they showed Barcelona in the Spanish La Liga. They are the Incredible Hulk. But
at this point, they're not even Incredible Hulk anymore. Because I think the difference between them and Real Madrid is about just 3 points or so. Yeah. And let's forget, Real Madrid have about a game outstanding. The game they were supposed to play against Villarreal due to the incident, but that was shifted. So I think they are almost similar. So where are the Incredible Hulk? Even in the Champions League, it's still very, very early to decide, considering the amount of games that they are playing in the Champions League. I think nobody is even going to decide until the quarterfinal. Even the quarterfinal is early.
Until you get to the knockout stage, you start talking about.
You talk about I think it's still early for Hansi Flick to decide to be pinning the dates for them going to the finals. But it's just to inspire the boys. But looking at the way they've been able to not perform since the absence of Lamine Yamal, will they be getting the result? I think over the weekend they lost a 2-goal lead. Though they were down to 10 men, but they lost a 2-goal lead and they ended in 2-2. This team has not been the way it used to be since Lamine Yamal went injured. Let's not forget how the season started. They were able to beat clubs like Real Madrid about 4 goals or to nothing, unreplied goals. So now what happened to that particular team? Just the injury on Lamine Yamal. Let's see how Hansi Flick is going to develop a solution. It's good for them to aim high, but for now it's just too early. I'm still very sure that before the end of this run of games in the Champions League, I will not be surprised that two top teams in Europe don't make it to the group stage or to the knockouts. The way it's looking like now.
All right, let's take a look at them one at a time. The Slovan Bratislava, they take on AC Milan. Slovan is still seeking its first points this season after a heavy loss to Dynamo, facing tough upcoming fixtures. Captain Marco Toli urges the team to learn from more experienced opponents like AC Milan, who recently impressed by beating Real Madrid 3-1. Milan looks to continue their momentum, having last defeated Slovan 5-0 in the 1992-1993 season. Mayowa will expect Milan to go with that form in which they beat Real to be able to take this one away to Slovan Bratislava.
Bratislava is just the whipping boys of the Champions League. As tomorrow sun will rise, they will chop it again, as they say in local parlance. But it will be a good experience for them. And that is why I question why some teams are making it to the Champions League. There are a whole lot of teams in the Europa League that probably do better than Slovan. But I think it's a straight win for AC Milan. I think they have the quality to be able to do it. And coming from the backdrop of beating a Real Madrid team. Yes, Real Madrid too, they've not been that fantastic in Europe. Some of the games they won because the teams they were playing, were making a whole lot of mistakes. And that's the reason why they're able to come out and rally around to get the result. If the teams were that clinical, I don't think Madrid too has been fantastic. But with the momentum that, Pulisic, Rafael Leao and the rest of them doing the magic, coming to the party, I think that probably propelled them. And I think Slovan, they are in for a very, big beating today, if I may put it that way.
All right. You expect Slovan to get a whipping at home?
Definitely. Atletico Madrid are trying to cement their position in the Champions League and getting past to the knockout. So, yeah, I think AC Milan, I expect them to get the victory. Let's not forget they've also dropped points in the past against teams like Liverpool. And they were not able to get cut against Liverpool and also get a victory against Real Madrid. But now they need to win this match to set, I think, cement their position in the Champions League. So they want to compete in the Champions League. So I think it's a win for AC Milan.
A win for AC Milan in the books of Mayowa and James. Sparta Praha will take on Atletico Madrid. Sparta started strong but has faltered, recently suffering a heavy defeat. Coach Lars Friis acknowledges the need to improve decision making. Atletico comes off a dramatic win against Paris, with coach Diego Simeone praising the impact of his substitute. And Sparta has a good home record in UEFA matches, while Atletico struggles with away performances. So Diego Simeone's side will try as much as possible to clear out the away form going into this one in a difficult ground where Sparta has been on form.
I think it's going to be a difficult one for Atletico Madrid. They have not been they have not been in very good run of form. I think the game over the weekend, they had to come back from behind to get the result. And I think the most important player, the players that have been getting the glory has been the Simeone's son. Try to remember his name. He has been coming in and getting the goal and changing the course of the game. Even in the last Champions League game, it was as important as that for them. So looking at this one, I don't think it's going to be an easy one for Atletico Madrid. But let's see. This football. Maybe Sparta Braga might go and have a bad day, and Atletico Madrid will just come in with the experience and get the full victory. But I think matches like this is where the experience of the coaches and the players come into play. If Atletico Madrid are going to do something different, then it has to turn back to the experience of both the players and the coach. But let's see if Atletico Madrid are going to get the game. I think the match is going to start in about 30 minutes or so. So let's see what happens.
All right, Mayowa, do you think that Simeone has what it takes to stop their rots when it comes to away games?
Like they say in Yoruba, meaning Sparta is good at home, but Atletico Madrid is bad away, and those are the two teams that are playing at the moment. Atletico Madrid has been struggling, apart from the fact that they were able to get a victory in the last round of game. The other games they've been playing, they've also been struggling. A whole lot of people, some people have been putting it to have been asking the question, after about 12 years with Atletico Madrid, what is the next thing a Diego Simeone would do to be able to get the kind of performance they deserve in the Champions League? I mean, when it comes to the Champions League, he has not been doing so well. With the kind of experience he has, you want to believe that he will do better in the Champions League. But year on year, the results have not been fantastic. They always flatter to deceive with the kind of results you get at the end of the year, and they always disappoint their fans. And I think it's high time Diego Simeone, turn things around. I think for me personally, they are going to struggle again. Going away is not their strong suit. I think where they have a whole lot of joy is playing at home, and that's where they always get the most important point. They are going to struggle again today. I will not be surprised if the game ends in a draw. Diego Simeone will play his ultra negative football again, because Sparta love attacking when they are at home, and they've been known to shock opponents at home. I think it's game day 2 or game day 3, they were able to get the result at home, dispatching the team they were playing, I think 3-0 or thereabout. And I don't think they want to let down today. I think it's going to be a very difficult game. I'm probably taking it to end in a draw, because I see Simeone going the route of packing the bus and trying to defend, or to probably try to hit them on the counter.
All right, and of course, we hope that Alvarez will get a goal tonight, and maybe Guardiola will see the goal and be unhappy about and letting him go. Well, let's talk about the Nigerian players. We talk about Bayer Leverkusen. They are at home against Salzburg. Leverkusen, who faced a surprising loss to Liverpool, aims to bounce back with midfielder Robert Andrich confident in their chances. Salzburg recently won against Feyenoord, breaking their winless streak, and they celebrate the milestone of 100 matches in European Cup histories. What a way to celebrate 100 matches. A way to Bayer Leverkusen. It's a very, very tough call for them to get a win.
Let's not forget the same Bayer Leverkusen side have not been in best run of form. I think Xabi Alonso has not come out that major problem they're facing currently is due to the injuries crisis they are having currently. But it's still Leverkusen and it's still Salzburg. Salzburg has been one team that's known to be very inconsistent. Their inconsistency is like the top notch of inconsistency. Even in the league, their league, they matches that you think they will go in and win, and you end up seeing them losing in the first half and maybe getting a draw in the second half. But it's still the Champions League and it's still the Bayer Leverkusen. I'll still want to bank on them for the fact that they lost the last game against Liverpool, and they have something to prove in the Champions League. They have something to prove themselves as a club. They want to defend themselves that what they had last season was not just a one-time thing. They want to at least go far in the competition. So I'll be thinking Bayer Leverkusen to come back from the bad result they had against Liverpool and getting the victory against Salzburg.
All right, Maiwa will expect Nathan Taylor to give the assist, and Boniface scoring the goal for Bayer Leverkusen tonight against Salzburg, definitely.
Yeah, I don't think Boniface will be making the team. I think he's still out injured.
Still out injured?
Yeah, today.
Wow, very, very, very big setback for him there. And of course, other players like Florian Wirtz will step up.
And Nathan Taylor too is also struggling. Over the weekend he didn't get to play. Probably maybe will be fit enough to play today. But the thing is Bayer Leverkusen has been struggling. I think the consistency level have dropped. A whole lot of their key players are out injured, and that might have contributed. However, as a coach that is competing on all fronts, you would have expected him to have squad depth, because if you have been fantastic the last season, you don't expect to come out and not make some changes, have some players that will be able to come in. But it's going to be an interesting game. Bayer Leverkusen has been struggling in the Champions League, and I want to see how they will fare. I will not be surprised, if Bayer Leverkusen are part of the team that are going to play playoff for them to be able to make to the second round. It's going to be a very difficult game. I'm not expecting so much. For me, I'll probably tip the game to end in a draw, because Bayer Leverkusen, they have a knack of conceding ridiculous goals that doesn't even make any sense. So I'm looking for a scoring game. I'll probably tip it a draw.
All All right, probably tipping it a draw in that one. There's also Young Boys versus Atlanta. We hope that Ademola Lookman will replicate the form over the weekend. He scored against Parma, and he's been on fire. And Young Boys are still in search of their first points after a narrow previous defeat. And coach Joel Magnin believes luck could shift their fortunes, but faces a tough challenge against Gia Gaspo Gabarini, talking about the coach of Atlanta, who have yet to concede a goal in the league phase. Wow, quite an interesting one for Atlanta. They've not conceded so far in the Champions League, and they go away to Young Boys.
Yeah, it's an interesting record we have when you have such a record in the Champions League, and it's a very good one. Young Boys, they are becoming of these teams that are tough and they do too well in their league, but they have not had an easy one in the group phase of the Champions League. But Atalanta definitely will be tipping them to get the day and get the result. Ademola Lookman and the team has been firing all cylinders, and the fact that they have yet to concede in the group phase of the Champions League, I think that's a very, very good record. And let's not forget they have faced teams like Arsenal also, and they have been able to keep such a record. But let's see if Atalanta are going to get the result at the end of the day. But I believe Lookman and the boys are up for it, and he'll be getting the result at the end of this particular one.
All right, Mayowa, we expect Atlanta to get this one in the bag and not concede, maybe?
Well, I mean, Ademola Lookman has been firing a lot cylinder, and one thing Atlanta has been doing so well this season is they've been dogged defensively. Yes, in some couple of games they conceded goal, but recent they've been avoiding conceding goals, and that is a testament to what Gasparini is trying to do in terms of shutting out the opposition team from scoring, and getting Ademola Lookman in from getting him the ball. Ademola Lookman always performing. I think the brilliance of Ademola Lookman in the league, he probably replicate the same thing today, and I'm not going to expect a different outcome. I think Gasparini and his boys, they have enough quality to be able to do it. The incoming African Footballer of the Year will probably get a goal tonight. I think probably Atlanta will be able to do magic and probably secure their qualification to the next round, because I mean they've put in a whole lot, and they are one of the top performing teams in the Champions League. I look forward to the game, and I hope Ademola Lookman gets the goal again, because I think he has the quality to be able to do it.
All right, and of course, it's going to be a blockbuster fixture as Bayern take on Paris Saint-Germain. Bayern secured a narrow victory over Benfica, while PSG struggles sitting in the elimination zone. Bayern boasts an impressive home record in the Champions League. And there's also the game between Inter and Leipzig. Inter Milan remains defensively solid, yet Leipzig faces the risk of elimination after recent losses. But for Bayern, PSG, I expect, talking about Vincent Kompany, to tutor these guys, but it's going to be a difficult one facing Luis Enrique, who's more experienced when it comes to Champions League football. But Bayern at home, we expect them to win this one.
They have been having a good run of games at home, and let's not forget they are still struggling to get a qualification. But Paris Saint-Germain has also been struggling. They struggled to teams like Girona in the past, and I will not be surprised if Bayern Munich are able to dispatch them easily, considering the fact that they have most of their top players injured. Maybe Goncalo Ramos might be getting some minutes, and Kimpembe might come get some minutes, but they are not fully fit. It's one I want to keep my eyes open for. It can swing anywhere, but I will not be surprised if Bayern Munich gets today at the end of it.
All right, Mayowa, we are pressed for time. We have to keep it rolling out of the studio as far as the show is concerned. I want to say big thanks for being a part of the show this evening.
It's always amazing to be here, and I hope, for the sake of the threatening note I got, Man City will take the day today. Thank you for having me.
All right, all the best with that. And of course, James, it's been awesome having you.
Mayowa, that's you and your wife's business. So if anyone wants to beat you, tomorrow we'll be here to drag Man City. We need to ask questions. What's going on? Why do we go? Which Baba do people go and offend? Let's know.
Maybe in the spirit of Black Friday, fair enough. They are with 3 points.
They are doing giveaway.
All right, big thanks to the guys behind the scene, talking about the likes of Shegun and Samuel, Paul, and of course Ikechukwu. My name is Jerry Apelo. I say thanks for being a part of the show. Until we meet again, stay safe, and if not, it's the Sports Ring.